I was questioning like my own morals and like my character as a person, because I'm like, well, I'm not being an authentic version of myself. At the time, not everybody knew that I was going through that, but it was something that I really struggled with.
I wanna wake up with you near me when it's nearly 6 a.m. I wanna move out of this city. I can't hear myself think anymore, but you've got 9 a.m.s now, don't you? And I've got the shifts in the morning, wrapping cables downtown. Ooh. How come we feel so lonely, lonely, lonely? Ooh. Thought that I came out to escape the simple lifestyle, but I guess it's got a leash on me real tight, and it feels real tight. Ooh. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La la la. I thought I could glide through these freeways like you see on TV, like I knew back at home. Thought I'd roam free, but I'm surrounded by all of these mountains, and I can't breathe when I'm singing anymore. I'm not as social as you thought I was. I know nothing about these one-time kind of things. It was a one-night type of stand. I'll admit it, I thought I had it for a minute in the pit of the troubadour. And when you nestled in my rib cage, you took up all the space between the bones. On the ride home, and you could tell that I hate being alone, and I could smell all the hours you worked at the department store. But you lied to my face in the morning. You said you was a fashion designer on the weekends, but you're just a practice liar like all them else. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. La la la.
Hi, I'm May, and this is my story. I started playing piano when I was like 4. It was like classical piano, like every Asian parent wants their kid to do. I hated doing it at the time, but my teacher always said that I was very talented at it and I was very good at it, so I just kept doing it. And then that was the only thing I really did until I was like 8. Then I started playing the drums for fun, kinda. And then music really started taking a really big role in my life when I turned maybe 12. When I was 12, I convinced my parents to buy me a guitar, and that's when I just would listen to Jonas Brothers songs and sing along and try to learn the chords. At around that time, there was a lot of Asian representation in YouTube for like music specifically. So my biggest influence was always this guy, Gabe Bondoc from San Francisco. Like AJ Raphael was up there. Timothy De La Ghetto at the time was like rapping and stuff. So for me, like my first foray into like doing music as like a hobby was always like, I can do that on YouTube. So when I was 12, I started like making covers and like starting to write my own songs kind of too, and like putting those up on YouTube. And then from there, when I got a laptop and a mic and stuff, I would just record little demos of like the songs that I wrote onto like Audacity on my laptop.
Streamline my conscience with nothing but gravity, pulling me closer towards good energy. It's been a while since you've heard me sing. I wonder if my voice could remind you things that you've forgotten, babe. For we, yeah. Ooh, 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 Oceanside, petrified only for the night. If you wanted to catch me, I'm dancing and lash me towards the end of the road, chasing the coast. Them palisades look like cabarets when I get closer to those hazel eyes. Think I'd rather die than stay. Hey. Streamline my conscience with nothing but gravity, pulling me closer towards good energy. It's been a while since you've heard me sing. I wonder if my voice could remind you things that you've forgotten, babe. For weeks.
I decided for myself on the inside when I was like maybe 15 that music is what I wanted to do. But I think like being in the small town that I was in and having more conservative parents that wanted me to have a traditional career, it kind of influenced me, and I thought like, all right, maybe like this isn't what I want to do as a career. Maybe it is just a hobby for me. When I first went to college, I wanted to go to USC because I knew they had the songwriting program and the popular music program, and I really wanted to go. And I applied and I got in, but my parents did not want me to go all the way to California, and they didn't want me to pay all that much money to go. So I ended up going to Northwestern for my first year. and I studied opera and pre-med. So yeah, that was like a really fun time. I felt like it was a really good college experience, but I never really felt like it was what I wanted to do for like my career path. And I think like the scholarship to Northwestern was really big too. So I was like, all right, maybe I'll just like go to Northwestern and I'll try, and if it doesn't work, it's all right. But at least I'll have like a safety net, which my safety net was like medical school, which is crazy. But then at the end of that first year, I was doing opera at Northwestern because they have like a really good opera program. There was probably like 6 or 7 people in my class. So I had most of my classes with like the same 6 or 7 people. And these people, like, they went to school for opera. Like, they wanted to be an opera singer. And I'm taking all these like diction classes and like how to speak German and pronounce Italian words and all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't want to do this. And I kind of had a realization that was like, if I was like studying engineering or something and like I was at Northwestern, I could be like, you know what, just like suck it up, do it for 3 more years, you're gonna get a job, you're not gonna be here forever. But if I'm already doing something as like not stable as opera, I figured like if I'm gonna do something like music, I might as well like love it. I'm not gonna get a degree in music and like hate it and like not want to do what I studied. So that's when I decided, you know what, like I'm just gonna do it. And I told my parents, like, I'm gonna do it, I'll take the debt, I'm gonna go to Los Angeles and try to like really pursue it. I told them I'm still gonna do pre-med at USC, but I never did. I did for like a semester and I was like, I can't do this. I knew on the inside once I moved to LA, I knew that I was just gonna be trying to pursue music full time. And as soon as I got there, like, it was like a really big shock being like, going from being the best person in a small group of people to like maybe one of the worst. And I think as soon as I got there, like, I just started writing with different people, working with different people. The biggest problem I had being at home and like being at Northwestern is like, I'm not a producer at the time. I wasn't a producer at the time. And I didn't know any people that I felt could produce my songs well. When I got to USC and there was all these production majors, I was like, whoa, I can work with these people and hopefully they could like produce my songs. And I think through working with them, I learned so much. I learned like where my songwriting was a little bit unfocused. I learned more about production. I learned more about like the industry itself and like how things change super quick and like what things are coming in, what things are going out and stuff like that. And it was a really big humbling experience as well, because I was being shown like over and over and over and over again, like where I can improve and like where I can grow. I think that was like the biggest life-changing moment for me.
Loose cannon by my feet, cold, neglected, still sting like the weeds. You're still hard to read after all these black and blue. I've never been called a prude, but maybe it's your way to say I can't choose. It's like you tell me which way to move, and we still mess the frame up. No matter how rudimental, I can't seem to shake my ego. It goes more flings on the weekends, more seats that I can fill up. I can't believe you made the way back. I can't help but imagine what you're up to. I can't shake all the things I used to know about you. I can't get rid of your friends still hanging out in my bedroom. I can't help but imagine, imagine, imagine. Why can't I just say that I moved on? I'm so deflective, still won't call you back. Scared I'll get attached after all these years. So confused. we never fought about nothing. Now, was that a you thing, or was it all because of me too? Don't matter which way I move, and we still fought the frame up. No matter how rudimental, I can't seem to shake my ego. It goes more flings on the weekends, more seats that I can fill up. I can't believe you went the way back. I can't help but imagine what you're up to. I can't shake all the things I used to know about you. I can't get rid of your friends still hanging out in my bedroom. I can't help but imagine. I can't help but imagine what you're up to. I can't shake all the things I used to know about you. I can't get rid of your friends still hanging out in my bedroom. I can't help but imagine.
Hello, I'm Peter. I'm the owner of the new AT&T store located at 3419 West 6th Street in Koreatown, Los Angeles. We're here to serve our community's wireless, TV, and broadband needs. We invite you to come in, get to know us, to see what we have to offer. We have some great promotions, an array of phones, tablets, and services to choose from. At AT&T, we look forward to meeting you and providing you with excellent service. Thank you.
When I first started writing songs, I think I was a little uneasy writing my own stories and writing about my experiences. So I think a lot of that time that I spent working with producers and writing my own songs and taking it to them, or like just top lining over someone else's instrumental or someone's beat, I didn't want to give too much away. I got really good at writing these like fantasies almost, right? Kind of these scenarios that maybe I wish happened to me, or maybe I wish I was the narrator in this story. And over time, it really started to take shape, and that character in all those stories started to become a real person, kind of. And there was a real through line through everything, and it all made sense, and it was all like very like glued together who that character was. So I think at the time when I was getting ready to release my own music for the first time, I decided to create a different character for myself called Brand Orange. And he was just, I think he is just like a more confident, like more enigmatic version of myself. Not version of myself, completely different than me. He's a very enigmatic and like mysterious, confident person. I always think of him as someone that you would fall in love with in a movie, but that's it. You don't get much more than that, right? Like a movie is like 2 hours long, and then you live with that character for 2 hours and then it's over. But in real life, like people change, people like grow, and they develop over time, and that's allowed, right? But you don't necessarily there's not that much room for movie characters to grow. And I think that's when I just started to confront like my own identity, and I started to like butt heads, because I felt like I was splitting my time half with myself and half with this character who's Brand Orange that's not even really me. And also at the time, I was working on this upcoming record, and I looked back one day and I was like, all of these songs are actually about me now. And I don't know when it started to transition into that, but I looked at the track list with Hector at the time, and I was like, all these songs are about me. None of them are fake. All of them are real. And I think I felt really uncomfortable telling my story through somebody else. It was just kind of like an inflection point in my career where I was really struggling with my identity, what I felt comfortable doing, even like my ethnic identity, and like all that stuff was like coming to a head, and I think it all had to do with this split personality thing that I really had going on with Brand Orange. And that's when I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna change my name. Even though it's like really difficult to do in like the entertainment industry today, I decided for the benefit of my own career moving forward and for my own like mental clarity moving forward that I needed to do that. Now it feels so much more authentic, and it feels more honest, and it feels more like humble the way I'm doing things. I just released my first song under that name, May, which is out now.
Caught up with you. At least you give me something to do. Maybe it's something to prove for myself. Either way, I'm just tired of getting high. Staring out the window in the late night, wondering if you fly by. Yeah. Every time I step out on the ledge, 7 stories never look so high. I need time before I show it to her. Never mind my disguise, I'm gonna fix it for her. Navy lines, my brown eyes can't hardly recognize them. More refined, prototype. Ooh, she ought to love me like this. More of the thoughts than the things or the parts that she likes. More if I shock the mind when the time's right, when she's ready. Realize my designs cut the main line to my body. Humanize, humanize Frankenstein till she finds me.
Eventually though, after writing all those songs that weren't about my story, weren't about me at all, somewhere along the way I just started feeling a lot of imposter syndrome and a lot of like friction with what I was doing. And I think that's natural, right? Like if you try to assume somebody else's character all the time and you're trying to pretend to be somebody that you're not all the time, I think eventually it's just gonna bubble up and like you're not gonna be able to like live those two different lives. And I think today, especially with like social media and everything, even if you don't take on something as strong as a completely different name, you do feel pressure to be an elevated version of yourself. That problem in and of itself was seeped into every corner of my life. Every single crack, every single, like, it was dismantling my entire life. I was getting to the point where like I was not sure what kind of person I wanted to be in the entertainment industry. I was questioning like my own morals and like my character as a person, because I'm like, well, I'm not being an authentic version of myself like half the time. I'm not being myself. I'm the one looking at social media and like looking at these entertainers and these artists and stuff and being like, I can tell that like this person's faking it, this person's not like real, this person's whatever. But I'm looking inward, I'm like, that's me too. Like that's not, it wasn't a good feeling. And it was like giving me anxiety. I was like having trouble sleeping at night. At the time, not everybody knew that I was going through that, but it was something that I really struggled with. That day I was confronted with like a serious decision of whether or not I wanted to keep my artist name. Especially today, it's really tough to make that decision because there are thousands of independent artists out there, all having their like really amazing journey, individualized journeys. It's tough to change your name and expect everybody to just be privy to that information that you changed your name. You know, my manager Hector has warned me like many times it is gonna be difficult, and like the label that I'm working with, they also told me it was gonna be difficult. So then I was kind of confronted with like, all right, what should I change it to? I don't want to change it to my real name, Matt Wang. I think there's too many Matt Wangs in the world, I think. And I felt like I should just tackle it head on and use my Chinese name, Mei, as my artist name. And Mei just means beautiful in Chinese, and I felt like it was like a really beautiful thing what I decided to do, changing my name and trying to be my authentic self. So it felt like the right thing to do. I also at the time was coming to grips with my ethnic identity. I grew up in a really small town in the suburbs of Chicago, and it was like 97, maybe 98% white. And my high school was that too. So a lot of my childhood and like adolescence was trying to fit in and like trying to be white, I think. And it was a lot of me convincing myself that like that's where I felt most comfortable was with white people. So at the time when I was thinking about contemplating the name change, I was thinking about where I was spending time in LA after graduating college, and I realized, oh, I spent a lot of time in like East LA, and I spent a lot of time like hanging out with Hector, like where he lives in like Montebello and everything. And I realized like I actually don't feel comfortable with white people, and it's something that I convinced myself that was true that I did. There was a point earlier this year where I realized that if I am with a bunch of Asian people, there is a little bit of like, whoa, like why do I feel uncomfortable with all these people that like also just look like me? I feel like I should be in a room full of white people. But on a deeper level was just like a byproduct of me shoving my like ethnicity down and like trying to be not that. That was very similar to what I was trying to do with Brand Orange. It was like throwing my own identity aside and saying like, this is not worth talking about, and this is not worth like people seeing or hearing about. And like this other person is like who you should be paying attention to. And I think coming to grips with that was why I decided to go with my Chinese name, Mei. Since doing that, like, there's like a huge weight lifted off my shoulder. I don't feel like I have to pretend to be anybody else anymore. I don't feel like an imposter half the time in my own skin. It's just super liberating to be, you know, making art that feels authentic to me and feels like honest to me all the time. I can't believe I was doing it any other way.
Sure is windy in the city. My hands, give you my hands if you want. Another tree with no limbs, ignorance and no bliss. Can we for a while on your couch till it's warm outside? 94 is a shit. You're 9 to 5 in your shifts. This Gino's getting cold. I guess I'll wait at home. This 23 cologne stinking up the road. Gloves got open holes. Hands feel so alone. Yeah, I'm lost. Yeah, I'm lost without you. I'm lost. Sure is windy in the city. My hands, give you my hands if you want. Another tree with no limbs, ignorance and no bliss. Carry for a while on your counts till it's warm outside. Palms feel strong on my arms, it numbs on my lungs. Can't breathe when you're near me. Why'd I always find that a time won't align? I'd be dressed to the nines. Get if I tried. I got drunk in my truck last month. Kinda wish that I died, almost swerved off the line. Was it my ADD, OCD tendencies? Was it enough? Wasn't it enough? I got these red lines drawn on my wrist, tattooed map, Metro tracks, Ryder Jackson. Remember we danced under the heat lamps. Wind blew so fast, my knuckles bled into your hands. I said, baby, I've been lonelier since you've been gone away. And I feel stupid, 'cause I never really showed you that I loved you. I'm terrified of the future, 'cause without you, I'm just another body. You brought me closer to human with all the things you do. You do, you do, you do, you do, you do, you do, you do. You do.
I think if there's one thing that I've learned in this whole process of trying to realize like my authentic self in my art is that it's never really too late to be yourself. And I think like there are a lot of people that put on a front, like I did, put on a front and try to pretend to be somebody else. And there's a certain point where they look back and they're like, well, it's too late now. I can't decide to show people who I really am, or I can't decide to chase after the dream that I had when I was 14 years old. And like, I think it's never too late. And I think like, it's worth it to invest in yourself and find out what really makes you happy. That doesn't have to be art, by the way, right? It could be doing exactly what you're doing and knowing that like, that's what makes you happy and you shouldn't feel insecure that other people want to do art and whatever. And if it is art, like, just try it out, do it. Yeah, I think that's just the biggest thing, because we spend so much time trying to be something that we're not, and looking back retrospectively from what I was doing, like, even if I didn't realize it for another 10 years, I still would have done it, you know, because it's so rewarding. The biggest part of my career really was like touring. At the time, like right before COVID happened, was when I started going on like really like smaller tours in support of other artists and playing bigger venues and stuff like that. And I think like that was the aspect of my career that was the biggest, and like that was gonna be the anchor driving me forward. And obviously with COVID, there are no live shows at all. So that was a really big hit, and we had to completely re-strategize how we're gonna move forward because we lost our biggest asset, we think. So it's been a lot of like contemplating like how to move forward, how to release songs, how to release this album that I've been sitting on, what I want the next album to like sound like. It's a lot of just like self-reflection, which is awesome, but sometimes can be really overwhelming if you let it run your life all the time. But on a lighter note, I think like I've been able to sleep more, I've been able to take care of myself more, and I've been able to allow creativity to come in and come out like as I want it to, rather than being like, I have like 3 days, I have to make something right now because I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna go there. So I can't say it's all bad, but I also can't deny that it's been a little frustrating. I think a lot of creators are feeling the same frustration right now because I think earlier on, we didn't know how long it was gonna be. I think it would have been better if we knew like, all right, it's gonna be 3 months and then it'll go back to normal. But it was especially difficult because we had no idea. There's no way to plan for the future when you don't know what the future is holding. That's frustrating, but at the same time, it forces us to really be in the present and focus on what's happening right now. And maybe that was like, I don't know, Mother Nature telling us that like we're all running ahead of ourselves of like where we should be at the moment. And I'm at peace with it now, I think. Thank you so much to Character Media for giving me the opportunity to come and share my story. And thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening. And I do have an album coming out early next year, so be on the lookout for that. Everything's gonna be on Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, wherever you stream music or download music. Follow me on Instagram at meijun.e. I think my Twitter handle is also that as well. But yeah, stay safe.
Loose cannon by my feet, cold, neglected, still stained like the weeds. You're still hard to read after all these prude. I've never been called a prude. Well, maybe it's your way to say I can't choose. You tell me which way to move. We still fuck the frame up, no matter how rudimental. I can't seem to shake my ego.